Hello, dear viewers, and welcome back to the channel where we closely examine the ever-changing dynamics of the British monarchy. Today, we're exploring a development that, while seemingly minor, a few strokes on a keyboard, carries immense historical weight, steeped in tradition and personal consequence. We're discussing the latest and perhaps final step in the public demotion of Prince Andrew, the late Queen's second son, following a quiet yet seismic change made to the official Buckingham Palace website. Before diving into the details of this digital erasure, please take a moment to support our independent coverage of royal affairs by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. Your engagement allows us to continue bringing you detailed, fact-based analyses. For weeks, both the public and royal watchers have awaited formal confirmation of Prince Andrew's newest and perhaps final concession. The Duke of York title, long associated with honor and lineage, has now been effectively retired from use by the prince himself. Buckingham Palace has confirmed this reality in the most modern and definitive way possible through a digital update to the royal family's official website. This site, a primary source of information for millions around the world, now reflects Andrew's decision to voluntarily cease using his prestigious title. It's not a mere administrative change, it's a symbolic act, an acknowledgement of the irreversible nature of his retreat from public life. Following the prince's announcement, made not through ceremony or broadcast, but via a carefully worded palace statement, the digital framework surrounding his official profile was dismantled. Website administrators swiftly carried out an extensive, though slightly uneven, revision of his page. The most striking change was the total removal of references to Andrew's title as the Duke of York. This latest blow, delivered by the very institution into which he was born, cements his position as an isolated figure within the monarchy. The title that defined his identity for more than 3 decades has been quietly but decisively erased from the heading and narrative of his biography. Yet, this digital revision exposes a fascinating paradox: the inherent challenge of rewriting royal history in real time. While current uses of the title have been removed, Andrew's page itself remains live, a nod to his enduring, if inactive, role as a blood royal. His biography still appears among those of key family members, signaling acknowledgement, but with a redefined context. A closer look at the text reveals traces of his former prominence, a subtle digital echo of titles past. Some mentions of the Duke of York persist within specific historical references, preserved as factual markers the palace either could not, or chose not to, erase entirely. One example remains intact, a tribute to his 2 decades of military service. The Duke of York's active service with the Royal Navy spanned 22 years until July 2001. This phrasing underscores an unavoidable truth: the title was rightfully his during that era of service. The palace can erase the present, but it cannot rewrite the past. The page continues to emphasize Prince Andrew's significant service in the Royal Navy, outlining his biography up until the point where his public life came to an abrupt halt. The complexity of this latest update lies not only in what has been added, but also in what has been conspicuously left out. The webpage still includes the comprehensive statement issued in 2022, a pivotal turning point in his downfall, which confirmed Andrew's permanent withdrawal from public duties, alongside the loss of his military affiliations and royal patronages. This section stands as a crucial timestamp, reaffirming the palace's firm stance in the aftermath of the legal proceedings involving Virginia Giuffre. Yet, curiously, the page has not been amended to include the most recent statement, the very one that prompted this digital revision and confirmed Andrew's decision to cease using his royal title. This omission raises questions. Is it a simple bureaucratic delay, or a calculated choice to let the 2022 statement remain the final official word on his disengagement from royal life? Perhaps the palace views the latest move, the discontinuation of the Duke of York title, as a natural extension of earlier, more consequential sanctions. Let us now turn to the defining moment that made this digital restructuring necessary. In an official announcement released by Buckingham Palace on October 17, Queen Elizabeth's second son, Prince Andrew, now 65 years old, revealed his monumental decision: he would no longer make use of his title, the Duke of York. The rationale behind this decision was carefully worded. The prince explained that continuing to use the title would only serve as an unnecessary distraction from the vital work being undertaken by His Majesty King Charles III and the wider royal family. While the statement framed the move as an act of personal sacrifice, it unmistakably reflects the mounting pressure and public scrutiny surrounding Andrew's continued connection to the upper ranks of the monarchy. To fully appreciate the gravity of this self-imposed severance, one must understand the deep historical weight carried by the Duke of York title. For decades, the public recognized Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie's father, primarily by that designation. The title was granted to him by his mother Queen Elizabeth II, upon his marriage to Sarah Ferguson in 1986. Traditionally reserved for the reigning monarch's second son, it is one of the most prestigious dukedoms within the British peerage, steeped in centuries of royal history. It has been held by numerous distinguished figures, including two future kings, George V, and more poignantly, George VI, Andrew's grandfather, who bore the title until his brother's abdication in 1936. By relinquishing the use of this historic name, Prince Andrew has not merely set aside a ceremonial label, he has distanced himself from a defining piece of royal lineage and from a role that once anchored him within the constitutional framework of the monarchy. The journey that led to this quiet digital erasure has been long, painful, and highly public. Andrew, who has consistently denied all allegations of wrongdoing, began his retreat from royal duties in 2019, following his now infamous interview with the BBC. Intended as a moment of transparency to address his ties to the late convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, the interview instead marked the beginning of his professional collapse, a catastrophic failure in public relations that accelerated his fall from grace. The fallout from that fateful interview was immediate and unforgiving. Stepping back from royal duties proved far from enough to stem the rising tide of public outrage and looming legal peril. The decisive moment came in early 2022. Acting on the advice of senior palace officials, and, reportedly, then, Prince Charles, Queen Elizabeth II, took the extraordinary step of stripping Prince Andrew of his remaining military titles and royal patronages. This unprecedented action followed a pivotal ruling in New York, where a judge dismissed Andrew's bid to have Virginia Giuffre's sexual assault lawsuit thrown out. The decision meant the case would proceed to trial, a scenario that threatened to engulf the monarchy in months, if not years, of damaging legal spectacle. With the Queen's Platinum Jubilee fast approaching, the risk to the monarchy's public image was immense. In an effort to avert further scandal, Prince Andrew reached an out-of-court settlement with Miss Giuffre for a substantial but undisclosed sum. The agreement closed the case before it could reach the courtroom, preventing a full airing of evidence and testimony that could have further eroded public confidence. Tragically, Virginia Giuffre, the woman whose allegations brought this long shadow over the royal family, died by suicide earlier this year, adding a deeply sorrowful dimension to an already dark and complex chapter in royal history. The removal of the Duke of York title from active use, followed by its quiet erasure from Buckingham Palace's official website, marks the final symbolic severing of Andrew's ties to his former life of privilege and public service. He now stands simply as Prince Andrew, not the defined royal figure of past decades, but an individual detached from the formal machinery of monarchy. This development underscores the unforgiving reality of the modern royal institution. Its survival depends entirely on public trust. King Charles III, in his nascent reign, has made it unmistakably clear that he envisions a streamlined, accountable monarchy, one that cannot afford to be burdened by the lingering controversies of the past. Thus, what might appear as a routine website update is, in truth, an unmistakable royal statement, the digital signature of a new king asserting that the crown must protect itself, even from within. Still, the palace's decision to preserve certain historical references, such as the mention of Andrew's 22 years of Royal Navy service, reveals the nuanced balance it must strike. They cannot fully erase him. He remains the son of the late queen and the brother of the reigning king, and his military record remains a legitimate part of his biography. Yet, his current presentation must in no way suggest an active role within the royal fold. The result is a biography that exists in a kind of digital purgatory, both present and erased. A perfect reflection of his new reality, visible by lineage, invisible by function. The long-term implications of this quiet yet momentous move are clear. Prince Andrew will not return to public duties. His daughters, Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie, continue to pursue independent lives largely outside the orbit of working royalty. Their father's final symbolic demotion further cements their family's place on the periphery of the modern monarchy. As for the Duke of York title, it now lies dormant, awaiting the day King Charles may choose to reassign it. Perhaps to Prince William's second son, should he have one, or to another future royal deemed worthy of bearing it. Until then, the title remains in abeyance, its legacy stained by the controversy surrounding its most recent bearer. The palace's precise, almost surgical edits to its official website reveal just how carefully the monarchy manages its image in the digital era. Every word, every hyperlink is weighed for its potential influence on public perception. This latest update effectively completes Prince Andrew's quiet transformation from a central royal figure into a historical footnote. His presence on the royal website now serves as a digital echo of what once was, rather than a reflection of the present. In the end, what began with a disastrous television interview in 2019 has concluded with a few lines of code erased in 2023. The official removal of the Duke of York title from Andrew's active profile is far more than a technical update. It's a final, symbolic act of separation. It confirms his permanent retreat from public duty and underscores the royal family's firm commitment to moving forward, leaving behind one of the most uncomfortable chapters in recent royal history. This moment invites reflection on how an ancient institution adapts to modern expectations of accountability and transparency. So, what are your thoughts on this latest development? Has the palace finally done enough to draw a line under the controversy? Or does even the faint trace of his page still feel too lenient? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below. We read every single one. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more detailed royal analysis, and tap the notification bell so you never miss our next update on the British monarchy. Thank you for watching.